Hi everyone. I am here today with a friend and a colleague, Tom Lasig. Tom is based in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and Tom and I have known each other for almost a year now. We took our NLP practitioner training together last year here in Canada, and Tom and I work with similar groups of people. I work with athletes in general, and Tom um, specializes in working with golfers. And he's got a few questions for me today. So, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Great. Thanks, Annie. Uh, we talked a little bit about what you do, and I want you to tell the folks you work with people for their sports performance. Can you be more specific about the type of people, the type of sports that you work with?
Yeah, so I do work with athletes in general, but I have a special interest in working with adventure athletes or athletes in extreme sports because personally, that's a lot of the sports that I'm involved in, such as rock climbing, snowboarding, skiing, mountain biking, and I have personal experience in those. So I work with a lot of people who are into those sports as well. But I also work with sports in general. And I also have a special interest in arm wrestling because I was in the world of arm wrestling for quite a number of years. So I do have a lot of experience in that as well. So, yeah, and I work with them using subconscious mind techniques. So we use neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis, and I'll have more videos talking about that kind of thing in a bit more specific way. Um, but yeah, we work on kind of subconscious mind patterns and shifting those to help them deal with any issues they're having. Maybe they're having confidence issues, performance anxiety, um, fears about how they're going to perform, or even in a sport like climbing, it can be a physical fear of falling or something like that. So, kind of encompass all those things when I'm working with someone.
Interesting. Now, I deal with a lot of golfers, and we always talk about always being positive on the golf course. Is that something you work with in your with your athletes, or do you do something different, or do you go deeper? Because there's a lot on the line in the sports that you're dealing with.
Yeah. Now, it is definitely about positive thinking, but not just about that. Because sometimes if we're just focusing on, thinking positively and saying positive affirmations to ourselves, it can be more on like a surface level, in our using our conscious mind. So although my clients do kind of use some of those positive thinking techniques, we use deeper techniques to really change what they're thinking at a subconscious level, which means that we can get to the level of their beliefs and their values. And ultimately, it's those beliefs that affect their behaviors, affect their habits, and if affect how likely those positive affirmations are going to have an effect on their performance. So if we can change what they believe about themselves at a subconscious level, then those affirmations are going to tie in with what they believe about themselves, which is just going to help them succeed even more in the sport that they do.
Right, right. So if someone wanted to do a session with you, what does that look like?
So I offer a couple of different things. My main offering is a full program, and that involves 6 sessions of working with me. And we start with goal setting and finding out about what they're struggling with, what they want to work towards, and goals that they have coming up in the sports that they do, whether they're competitive or not. Um, and then we work through a number of different techniques, visualizations to take them into a point where they're delving into what's been going on with them, and where those beliefs that they had came from. And a lot of the time that involves going back to experiences they had when they were younger, which tends to be when we form these beliefs when we were children, when we were young children. And that doesn't have to be, these can be everyday kind of events that we experienced as children. And we assigned a meaning to those when we were a kid and formed a belief subconsciously. We weren't aware of this. And then as other things happened in our life, we kind of applied what we came to believe as a child into everything else that we did. So I really delve quite deeply into that, and even working on things like emotional regulation, which is, as you know, is really important for athletes to be able to manage their emotions on the golf course, or on the ski hill, on the rock face. It's really important to be able to manage that in the moment where they need it. So that is that full 6 session package, and that's when you see those lasting changes. But I also understand that this work is something that a lot of people might not have experienced before, and so they want to kind of dip their toes into working with me, see if we're more of a good fit for each other. And so I offer something called a breakthrough session. And this is a one-time, one-off session to introduce them to this subconscious work so they can really get a feel of the shifts that are going to be made for them from using these different kind of mindset techniques. And oftentimes, for people, once they've experienced that one time, they can go on to doing the longer program to really cement everything that they started, that they got momentum with in that breakthrough.
When you have an athlete that's involved in this 6 session package in your program, how soon do they start noticing changes in their performances?
Honestly, for most people, they're seeing some kind of change immediately after that first session. And that is usually a change in um, a belief about what they can achieve. And so that has an effect on how they're performing, whether they have a tournament or competition coming up right away, or their performance that they're doing in their training. And even from the breakthrough session, um, people they get a shift in that, and so they can apply that to their sport immediately. Um, and so, yeah, it is very common for people to start noticing those differences right after that first session.
So you're helping these athletes with the sports that they perform in. Does it carry over? Does whatever you're working with them on, does it carry over to normal everyday life?
That is what is amazing about this work, is that whatever our clients come to us for specifically also applies to any other area of our life. Because we're working at that subconscious level with their beliefs, these beliefs tend to stem out in other areas of their life as well, um, not just on what they've come to me specifically for. And because, the way we think about one thing tends to be the way that we think about everything. So by changing and reprogramming those beliefs for people, um, that is something that they can apply to other areas of their life. And the same for the techniques that I give them to do at home, the visualizations, the techniques to put them in a calm state before they perform. They can be applied to any situation, any stressful situation that they might have that can be related to work or family situations, relationships. That's the great thing about this, is that they can be applied to many different things.
Great. Now, I know a lot of people really don't understand what hypnosis is all about, and they'll have questions about hypnosis. But what about the person that says, do I need to believe in hypnosis in order for it to work? What do you tell them?
I tell them you don't need to believe in it, because it's a natural process that we've all experienced. You have to be open to the possibility of what hypnosis can do for you, but a healthy level of skepticism is completely normal, especially for someone who's never experienced it before. So it's normal to go into it and, being curious, but also wondering what it's all about. That's quite common. Um, and, we all experience kind of that level of hypnosis and trance without even really being aware that it's happening to us. If we're like driving a car from point A to point B and we get to point B, but we kind of zoned out in between, gone on to autopilot, that is the same as going into hypnosis, apart from I'm just going to guide you into it, and so that we can rewire patterns in your subconscious mind that have been causing problems for you. So, no, you don't have to believe in it because it's completely normal to have a little bit of skepticism. You just have to be willing to participate.
Good, good, good. So I'm an athlete. What's the next step?
So if you want to work with me, the best thing to do, I'll put the links down in the description of this video. You can check out my website, and then you can, if you want to start with a breakthrough call, just a one-off session, you can go ahead and book that right away. And if you want to find out more about the six session package and kind of go into that one right away, you can book a call with me, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other and just chat about what that can involve for you.
Great. Well, Annie, thanks for the chat.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Tom.